Now we're going to take a look at the new feature in Ableton Live of sidechaining. Now sidechaining simply means we can take the audio from one track and use it to control the audio from another track if we use one of the audio devices. Let's make a little more sense of that. Let's start out by hearing what I've got on first track 1. If you have access to the project files, you do want to open up this project called sidechaining. And so now I've got the volume of track 2 off and the volume track 1 on. Let's listen to this. So we've got a straight eighth note pattern, open, and it's got a follow action that automatically kicks it down into the next clip. And that's a syncopated. And then back up. Okay, so now we're not even going to be listening to this anymore. I'm going to turn its volume off and now turn up the string volume. I'm going to play this now. And we'll look at that. Just a nice slow string part with echo. We're going to use this for our sidechain control. And I'm going to bring back my master volume a little bit. We'll be able to talk a little bit better. And double click on string machine. This way we can see the actual audio devices in this chain. So here we've got long chords being played by the string machine, and I've added a compressor and an EQ8 after that. And for now the EQ8 is turned off here. So this compressor is a normal compressor. Again though, in version 9 we've got some new modes for opto, different optical type response from the compressor, some different models. A very new, strongly enhanced compressor in many ways, including sidechaining. Now to get to the sidechaining, we've got to unfold this triangle right here, and we get additional parameters we have access to. Now as soon as we turn on sidechain, we're going to tell it to listen to audio coming from a different track. Now currently I've only got impulse here, but if we had more we could do that. We could choose the returns or the master or another track. But I do want to use that drum part. It has a pulsing that we're going to use to control the volume or to control the compressor as it changes the volume of the strings. Let's listen to this again. I'm going to launch. And turn the volume of strings a little bit. So now as the drum pattern toggles back and forth, we get a different rhythmic pattern, opening and closing the volume changes inside the string part. Different part, different rhythm. And stopping with the space bar. Now when you go to sidechain, you can turn this on, and this means I want to monitor, stop listening to what's here, but let me hear what's in the sidechain. So I'll space bar again. Now this helps us if we want to add EQ. Now in this part we're currently using, it's simply a hi-hat part, but if it were a complete drum part, the ability to change the EQ on that would allow us to focus in. Let's listen again and I'll use the EQ. Now move this up to where it's up near the hi-hat. If I pull it lower, like if I were looking for a bass drum, it would then exclude the hi-hat as we hear now. So this EQ band lets us focus the sound in that we want to control the compression or the changes in the new part. So once we get this tuned EQ wise, we can do that. Now also we have a gain control here that allows us to increase the volume of the incoming part to get more or less reaction from the compressor itself. Now once we have the compressor tuned the way we want, we're going to hide these changes, turn off the sidechain monitor here, and now we're back to listening to the actual strings as they're being compressed by the incoming signal. So now this compressor is no longer listening to the strings, it's listening to the drums, but it is compressing or changing the volumes of the strings. You can change your settings here in the compressor, like your ratio and your threshold. And you get great results. Now let's engage EQ8, and I've done this just so we can create a new audio effect. If we come over here, we see a sweeping peak right here, and it's kind of narrow. So if I take my frequency now, move this around, we've got a great audio effect. I'm going to kick the gain up a little bit more. We've got a great part now. So once it's in effect, I'm going to bypass the EQ and bypass the compressor, and let's listen to what the string sounds like without this. Spacebar to play. That's the okay part, but it doesn't have anything special. So we see how we take this very basic part and turn it into something very exciting and interesting, using the compressor with sidechaining, and then adding this EQ8 effect onto the end of that takes the sidechaining effect even to another level. So we can see now that the audio processes within Ableton Live 7 are very powerful and very creative. You can use this to have a lot of fun. You can pull in other tracks if you want and keep this project for a starting point. Okay, this concludes our look now at sidechaining.